Hello and welcome to the Ohio Arts Council's Rife Gallery's After Hours Do-It-Yourself Creative Writing Workshop. Today, we're going to explore character development and narrative writing with Chiquita Mullins Lee. We'll hear from Chiquita first, gather our materials, and talk through the prompts together. Remember to work at your own pace and pause the video as needed. Additionally, links and reference materials can be found in the video description and work best when opened in their own windows. There's also more information on how to share your work and connect with Chiquita and the Rife Gallery. Okay, Chiquita, take it away.
Thank you, Kat. That was a really wonderful introduction. And I'm really happy to be working with you and Amy as we present the videotaped version of this workshop. You know, it's always different when we are in person with people and have that energy of people reading back and forth and talking back and forth. But what this workshop gives the participants a chance to do is to have the time to stop and ponder and write and do any kind of creative thing they want to do. So we welcome them to allow their creativity to just take flight and see where it leads them, because it's really all about having a good time. It's all about having fun. All right, so we want to make sure that you have your favorite writing instruments, that you have your journal, if you keep a journal, that you have a laptop if you want to work on your laptop, or a sketchbook, or just loose paper, or a spiral notebook, or anything that you use. Index cards, napkins, sometimes ideas can come at any place at any time. So just have something to write with. I had written things on my own palm when I had an idea to come to me. So just have whatever you'd like to use for this workshop. So what we're going to be talking about is creating compelling characters for fiction or nonfiction. So you will hopefully through this workshop, and I think I just want to set an intention that because of this workshop or through this workshop, you are going to create a primary character and a secondary character that is someone that is a compulsion for you, someone that you have gotten in your mind that you can't seem to get away from. And then you're going to place that character in a challenging environment. Now, this gives you the foundation for a poem, for a story, or for any other literary work. And it's also a chance to revisit previous work, and you could create something altogether new yourself. Characters will have an impact on your story and on your reader. The impact of good characters will be that they are memorable, that they are authentic, that they're relatable, that they're also imperfect. We don't do too well with perfect characters because we don't relate to them. And also, are they compelling? Are they dramatic? So what are the character traits of compelling characters? Well, they have certain physical, personal, and emotional traits. They look a certain way, they behave a certain way, they are feeling people. And if they're not feeling people, then that's a whole other character trait in and of itself. They have certain capabilities and competencies. They might have certain contradictions. They have compulsions and habits that maybe other people don't understand. And maybe the author, him or herself, is trying to figure out. And they are challenged in one way or another. They have specific challenges that they're working through. So when you're creating your character, what do you want to think about? Well, you want to think about maybe this character that you're creating is actually yourself, if you're creating a memoir or an autobiography. You know, what are your needs? What are your memories? Who are you? What do you look like? You know, who are your, that's the first thing, just basic things about yourself. But then who are your adversaries? Who are those folks who come against you? Who's your enemy? Who's your frenemy? Who is the person that you come into contact with in a specific scenario? If it's not yourself, there might be a completely new protagonist that you want to create. So think about who that person is. And these are some of the character traits that you want to give this person. What's their name? Of course, they should have a name or a nickname unless they don't. And if they don't, then give us a reason why. What's their age? What do they look like? What's their personality? Are they a very quiet, soft-spoken person? Are they always the life of the party? They enter the room and never meet a stranger? What's their personal history? When were they born? And what time period did they grow up? What specific environmental challenges did they make? So just think about all the things about this character that makes them come to life to you and that makes them compelling on the page. And then also, once you create this main character, Then think about who their protagonist is, who their enemy is, who is the person who's going against them to keep them from achieving their goals or meeting their own specific needs. So the purpose of what we're about to do now is to not only create these characters, but to put them in a place where they are in trouble. Because one of the things that creates compelling drama is trouble, challenges, conflict. So hopefully this is what you're going to do. Once you create this compelling character, you're going to put them in a place where they are going to encounter some kind of difficulty. So the following slides will include a prompt and an image of the artwork from the previous exhibition, but you're going to put that character either in that work of art or they are actually manipulating that object within that actually constitutes that work of art. And then there are prompts that will go along with each of these each of the screens. So then you can think about the challenges and the problems that your character might encounter, and think about whether a new character emerges, character goes in a different direction. So there are no limitations here. Just think about who your character is and how they respond and react to what is in the scenario that each of these slides represent. So here's the first one. This is your first prompt. This is called Button Trowel. Now, if you've created an interesting character, a compelling character with some challenges and some interesting personality traits, would this image, would this trowel be something that your character could relate to, could create a story about? Has this character ever used a trowel, and how have they used it? Would this evoke painful memories? Perhaps your character has observed someone else using a trowel like this, and it's a very fancy trowel. What does that represent? And if you look a little bit closer, you see all the beading and all there are even characters close by if you can kind of zoom in. So just think about what this trowel represents. This is a gardening tool. Does your character have a garden? And what might your character do with this trowel in this garden? What are they digging up? What are they hiding? So a lot of things that you can think about with this trowel. Chunky Churn Dash Quilt. So maybe your character is recovering from an illness. What is the illness that your character is recovering from? Is there a difficult relationship that your character is involved in and they're having to serve as a caretaker for someone who is under this quilt? How are they reacting to that person? Did the character create this quilt? Did the character lose the quilt and then had to find it? Do they ever find it? What does the quilt mean to this character? The next prompt is actually untitled. But for me, when I look at it, I think that this might be perhaps a third world environment. And I consider that, maybe you have a character who is traveling in a foreign country and they're out at night, and maybe they're lost in the city at night. Now, that would be some trouble to get into. You're lost in a city that does not speak your language, and you are trying to figure out how to get back to your hotel. Or maybe you're with your antagonist and they're creating additional problems for you in the midst of this. Maybe your antagonist is someone that got separated from you and you're trying to figure out how to get back to this person who you really don't want to be with anyway. What does your character do when they notice that maybe they're being followed by, say, another antagonist? So from a protagonist, they find out appears to be an antagonist, but isn't someone who really wants to help. So you can have a lot of fun with this one, I think. A lot of great details here as well. And then our final prompt is The Middleman, a wolf in sheep's clothing. This is one from our wonderful artist, Amy Wisman. And I love the idea of a wolf in sheep's clothing because this gives layers to your character. What happens when your character realizes they've been betrayed by a wolf in sheep's clothing? What happens when your character has been revealed as the wolf? And what did your character experience to create this dual persona? So these are prompts that I hope will challenge you to look at ways of creating characters, ways of putting characters in challenging situations, and just seeing what happens. And we hope that you enjoy this experience. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you again for joining us for After Hours DIY Creative Writing Workshop with Chiquita Mullins Lee. I'd like to give a special thank you to Ken Emmerich, the juror of this exhibition, and to the Ohio Arts Council's board, the Ohio legislature, and the governor, who support the OAC in this great space, allowing us to amplify the voices of Ohio artists.